So we're talking about in today's lesson, positioning ourselves for $100,000 in 2025. And as we look at this idea of positioning, my goodness, I'm excited. I've got to slow down. When we think about the ideal of positioning, we have to put on the banker's mindset. We have to resist the temptation and the conditioning of thinking like a borrower. The borrower's mindset is only interested in paying bills. I got to hurry up and pay my bills. The banker's mindset is priority is to position itself so that it can create the five miracles of money. What are the five miracles of money? What's number one? Interest. When I was doing some review and study, we're going to also say interest from debt and dead money. Oh my goodness gracious. Cash reserve accumulation. Once we get cash reserve accumulation, we can get cash flow. And once we get cash flow, we can use that to absorb debt for the purpose of what? Creating a profit. Mm, mm, mm. And as we create these profits from the absorption of debt, and the reason why we say absorption is because when you use your policy to pay down debt, there is interest that is created from the debt. Okay? That interest is calculated anytime there is an index crediting. Bonus conversation, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into index management. How do we position our policies to get a 20% rate of return every year? Oh my God, now hold on. Don't fall out your chair. Stay in your chair, buckle up, okay? Because I'm gonna say some things that may knock you out the chair. All right. So, but we want to use the policy to absorb debt, and that interest that is created from that debt will compound for the rest of your life. So if you have that policy for 50 years, guess what? The interest that you absorbed that is now compounding when there's an index credit compounds forever through your lifetime. Lifetime and forever is two different things. So let me be more specific. Then we want to use velocity of money. Now, one of the powerful things about the strategy that we teach is that we want to use the same funds for multiple purposes at the same time. Ooh, Lord. Yeah. So let's say, for example, and I have completely blown the class, forgive me, I'd have notes and I went somewhere else and got excited. Okay. But I promise I'm gonna show you something in a minute. Just let me get there. The reason why the velocity of money, so somebody said, well, I could put this in my savings account. So no, we're not. See, that's the borrower's mindset. The borrower's mind, a savings account is limited. Savings account has its purpose, but it is limited in the scope of what we teach. And what are we trying to do? What is the objective of this class? Is to teach you what? What is the three fundamentals that we teach? We want to double property equity value regardless of market conditions. We want to double cash reserves without market losses or taxes. We want to create cash flow. How do you create cash flow without a tenant? And how do you double that cash flow? It all starts with the five fundamentals of the miracle of money. That velocity of money is the objective of taking a single fund and using that fund to reinvest into assets that create cash flow or profit of some kind. Then we want to take a portion of that property and recycle it back into the policy and duplicate that process over and over and over again. Velocity of money. Can't do that with a checking account. The checking account, once you take that money out, you have depleted that reserve. Okay. All right. So let's go into let's get into this because I'm talking too long. Okay. So again, we're talking about positioning, right? Right, class? We're talking about positioning. Now, how many of you, it's okay to confess, how many of you are paying out more interest on credit card debt than you are earning on your savings? Now, look at this. We're talking about positioning, right? Positioning is just a matter of restructuring your finances and shifting from the borrower's profile of decision making to the banker's mindset of decision making. The banker's mindset objective is to create those 5 miracles from money. And the beauty of it is that it solves multiple purposes at the same time without depleting the asset and without putting your money at market risk and taxes. Wow. Wow. Okay. So let's look at a $10,000 credit card. It's $10,000 credit card. If your balance is at 29% interest over 5 years, watch this. The opportunity cost of carrying $10,000 credit card balance at 29% interest rate over 5 years is approximately $21,030 over a 5-year period. This represents the difference between what you would owe due to interest and what you could have earned if the money had been invested at an 8% annual return. Now, the purpose that we want to make is about positioning. Because if we can replace, if my policy can be used to absorb a credit card, and then I can use my policy to pay down my credit cards and recycle that money, meaning that I'm going to take policy loans to pay down my credit card. And with the same budget I was using to pay my credit card, I'm going to then use that to pay my policy back over an extended period of time. Why do I want to use time? So that I can keep keep more control of my cash flow. But the point being made, when I do that, I can take a $10,000 cash value policy, make the same payments I was making to the credit card, without accounting for the internal costs. I can take that 10 grand to 21 grand over a 5-year period predictably. Oh my goodness gracious, I hope we're understanding what we're saying here. If I can replace my policy with the credit card, even if it takes time to do this, I can literally create interest and cash reserves. That's number one. And number two, I can create interest and cash reserve from my policy and transfer the financial benefit from the bank to myself. This basic fundamental right here, ladies and gentlemen, the ideal of positioning, where I can structure my policy to take the place of a credit card, still use the credit card, still use it, but use my policy to replace that credit card over time. I can capture the profit that I'm paying to the credit card. I can create that myself. And watch this. We're not even talking about, well, yeah, we are. We said 8% annual return. But if I'm paying myself back 29%, just like I'm paying the bank, I am rebuilding my cash reserve faster. Let's look at it from another perspective. Let's go to 50,000. So the opportunity cost of carrying $50,000 credit card at about 29% interest. Again, interest rate at a 29% interest rate over 5 years is approximately $105,149. So again, if I'm going to use my policy, get my policy built up. So now I've got 50,000, let's just say 60,000 in there, because you're never going to take the full surrender value for a policy loan. You never want to take more than 80%. But I'm going to, because I'm using it the same way or similar to my credit card, or I'm going to use my policy to absorb that credit card, I am going to transfer the financial benefit of the credit card to the policy. Oh my goodness gracious. Just this alone can revolutionize your finances and help you build towards $100,000 in cash reserve, simply by having your policy take the place of the credit card by what? Positioning. It's okay if it takes time. You start with 10,000. That 10,000 turns to 20,000. Your 20,000 turns into 40,000. The 40,000 turns into 80,000. I wish I had understood this just 20 years ago, where I'm literally using my policy to absorb debt. All right, now it is and then it's what's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, I'm kind of cheating a little bit because we're only really talking about the first two applications here. Well, the first three, because you could say profit, because the 29% credit card, we want to pay that 29% to ourselves, right? So we want to pay that to ourselves. It's okay to pay it to yourself. It's okay. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny in a way that it's not funny, in a way that it is funny, how the Bible refers to the borrower as the slave. Lord have mercy. Out of all the words that could be used, it's interesting how the Bible is referring uh, to being a slave. Why? Because the slave has no control. When we talk about positioning, building your cash reserves, using it to replace the credit card over time with the same mechanism that you're using to pay the credit card, you can position yourself for $100,000. So what if it don't happen this year? So what? But many of you can. Our money should look like a figure eight. When we are building the policy, so let's walk through it. Number one is building the cash reserve. Okay. Whenever we structure a policy, the objective is to use the policy to solve multiple problems. The purpose of life insurance, here's a bonus for you. The purpose of life insurance, ladies and gentlemen, is to solve current and future financial problems while protecting your current and future cash flow and assets. That is the purpose of life insurance. If you're putting money into an account and you're not using that money, do you know how much that is costing you? Okay, let me stay focused. So number one is build the policy. We want to build it for a specific purpose or purposes, and those purposes can change, or they can be, we can add things, we can add something, take something away, especially when we create that financial DNA. But we want to build the policy. Then we're going to take policy loans for the purpose of what? Of either absorbing debt and or reinvestment. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Number three is the interest crediting. Probably in about next several weeks, we're going to get into how do we create a 20% rate of return every year with an index product. Now, that's not a guaranteed number, but it's a fun number, and we're going to get into how we can do that. All right, number four, when we pay a loan back, we're always using the budget that we were using to pay other debt. We're now going to be paying ourselves. And then we're paying that into the policy. So what's happening here is that anytime I'm making a major expense or major investment, I want to maintain control of the money by making sure that it comes back to me and I am always making a profit on that money. Whew, Lord have mercy. This is the reason why this part right here is so expensive. You've got $100,000 in credit cards over 5 years. That is a $210,298 financial impact because we are used to transferring away our money to the credit card company. We're so used to it, we sleep real good despite doing that. Okay. So let's talk about how do we get your finances structured so that we can get you positioned for your next $100,000 without market losses and without taxes. We've got to rethink how our finances are structured. We've got to eliminate the tax burden. We've got to eliminate market losses. We have to eliminate opportunity costs. We have to begin to position ourselves so that anytime money goes out, we don't lose control of that money. All right, be blessed, everybody. See you later.